Greetings to all beings on planet Earth. Welcome and blessings. Hi there. Yeah, it's me again. It's Dave again, or Hawkeye Two Feathers. Hi there. Um, I really made a mistake earlier in a couple of videos, and I realized what my mistake was when I got on the live video chat with Milky Way Weekly earlier. And so I'm not sure if this chat works. So I greet you with love and kindness, and may many blessings come your way, and your friends, neighbors, and etc. Positive energy is what I try to speak of all the time. And when I make a mistake, I'm going to jump right on saying, oops, I made a mistake. Okay. Now I put it down in the bottom in the description of this video. And what happened was, and I'm going to show you in just a second, but I will explain this from me to you, face to face kind of deal. I own up to my mistakes when I find them, when I make them, and if I look and I go, I really goofed up. So rather than wait, I need to go ahead and do this little update right now. I thought it was important. So when I was doing the charts and showing how the magnetic waves and how things are coming from the direction of the sun and the sun, two things, that these energies were swimming in a cosmic goo, if you will. And right now, when we were told this back in the 1990s, I stated this in other videos, that we were told in the 1990s that we were in the future, we were going to go through this dense area of space. And we are. And we have been. And we're going to be going through this for a while. So with that bottom premise said. So I've been looking at the different satellites and so forth, and I finally found this one that I needed so I could sort of prove a point that these things are coming in, and the fluctuations that are going on with the intensity of the stream coming at us. Actually, we're flowing through it, but they're also coming at us. So yeah, it's a tit for tat on that one. But in my zeal, when I set the clock and set how many frames and so forth, and then bring it up into full view, the relative position asked about seconds. So when I looked at the clock, my brain was still thinking seconds. So then my mouth started blurting out, oh my God, this is happening every 4 seconds. I should have said every 4 minutes, because that's how many frames it took. That's how many takes it was taken. Every 4 minutes, not seconds. Now, but to sort of back up my for real point, this is actually a continuous flow coming in. It's only because of my settings on the chart, if you will, that allowed me to say how many frames per second, so forth. And you can alter that and change it later, more, fewer, less, ... So in my zeal, I was like, oh my God, this is happening every 4 seconds. Now, again, it's a continuous flow coming into us. But I still wish to correct what I said. Instead of seconds, I should have said every 4 minutes, meaning every frame that I jump forward with a click of the mouse is 4 minutes in time. Okay. Now that's just, okay, I've cleared that up. My apologies. I was just freaked out when I was seeing how these energies come in. Now, another point before I go to the charts, and I want to look at you and say, okay, listen now, listen up. Now, when I say these things are related, there are going to be a lot of naysayers. Now, I must honestly speak and say that I'm not sure how they're exactly related, okay? But the scientific data proves that something in the cosmos, in our galaxy, in this solar system, that all of the planets and everything's going through at this moment, okay? There are pulses coming through the solar system, however you want to put it, and it's showing up in the magnetic field lines. It's showing up in all the different magnetic waves. and it's showing up as different waves of energy coming over the earth, and there are little blurps and bubbles and things like this. Now, to those who say, yeah, well, that's magnetic stuff, yada, 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 and that's solar, blah, blah, blah. What's that got to do with you and me and our higher self and the energies and the healing and the DNA changes and all the things that many of us have been speaking about for a while? Well, if you take that information from these two instruments and you go to the Schumann resonance, you'll notice there is a correlation. So as these pulses are coming, however they're coming into us, it's happening around the earth, okay? And it's having a huge effect because all of us are feeling bonkers or cray cray, as I like to say, and some other folks. But to the point though, we really don't understand what these pulses and magnetic changes and field anomalies and so forth, the differences in the Schumann resonance, okay? We've never been here before, at least not in a long time. And those who may have remembered are long since dead and gone. And many of us have really old memories. And some of us are being reawakened to, oh my gosh, look at what's going on. So a little bit of woo-woo there, but the whole point of doing the videos trying to show what these fluctuations in our galaxy, mostly in our solar system, but it's galactic energy that's coming through, or that we're actually, and I love my little light bulb simulation. This is our sun, and the planets rotate around the sun, but we're not in a straight line like they tell us, okay? The closest planets are closer to the equator, but as the planets get bigger, they also are dragging behind the sun, okay? They're saying that it's either 74,000 miles per hour or per second. If it's 74,000 miles per hour, that's still hauling tail through the galaxy. If it's 74,000 miles per second, we're really flying through the cosmos. Okay, and that explains a lot of reasoning why we're going through this dense area in space. Now, with that explanation, for those who might be just watching and not caught up with this, I'm not able, it says there's somebody online, there is a viewer. If you could please enter something into the chat if you're there and would. Because it's not, in this particular setting, when I try to share the screen, I've not been able to see any chat messages. So I'm not ignoring you. They're not coming up on my screen if you're there and adding to the chat. Okay, so my apologies, but my little Chromebook here and some of these applications, it just simply doesn't work. Now, when I just press the go live from my YouTube top page thingy, then I see the chat messages that I see people come on and so forth, and I can interact with that. However, at that setting, I am unable to share the screen. I need to share the screen to show you the updates. So here I go. Hang on just a second. I thought I was ready, and then I actually goofed myself up. Almost there. Okay, come back down here, do this little things. Okay, now I'm going to share the screen with you, please, and show you the updates of what's going on, the current status of the integrated space stuff. Okay, it now says I'm sharing the screen. So, and it also means that I can't see the chat if you're there. So I must have faith in this. Now, where I made my mistake, if you can see my little black mouse here, the arrow pointer, I was looking at the timestamp down here, and I was thinking this was 3 minutes and 44 seconds. Wrong. This is 3 hours, 44 minutes, and 59 seconds. So I was looking at this number here, and when you go down into this, it says frames per second. So I took this word here, second, and when I hit apply, my brain was on seconds. So when I saw this going by and it was like every 4, my brain said seconds before I could even think. Okay. Now this is current. All right. Let me pause it. And I'm going to make it larger. Is it going to let me? Oops. Hang on. I'm trying to size the, wait, it might be down here. There it is. Okay. I'm going to try to show both of these at the same time. Ooh, that's a little weird. All right. Maybe not so much. All right. And then I'm going to come down here and click on this one. Now see this one up here. I know it's stretched out and looks a little weird, but it's the Z cut and it's the solar wind velocity. This one is the Batsras Y cut magnetic field lines. Now these things are related, whether anybody else wants to agree with me or not. And I'm just going to show it to you and you can make your own judgment. That's sort of part of what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to give information, not to make you believe me, but to give you information so you can actually make your own judgment on some of these things. And that now what I want to do is I want to set the same time in this frame here. Now it says 7/5 at 1700 hours. Okay. Now I'm going to change the date. You're going down to the bottom left, excuse me, and I'm going to go to the 12th. And now the timestamp on this one up above this says 7/12/2018, and the timestamp is 01/28/59. So I want to go in here then and to my time, and let's see if it'll allow me to do this. Oops, nope, it won't. Hang on there. I'm trying to get to the same time. So as you can see, I can pick the hour that I wish the timestamp for this MPEG image coming in. So I'm going to go to 01. All right. Now that gets us close, and I'm going to hit apply. Now this is current. Oh man. That says the 5th, doesn't it? I didn't change the date. No, there it is. All right, hang on with me. Sorry about that. I should have left it go. Now this is current. This has just happened, and within just the last 7/11 to 12/1. Okay, so it's within the last couple of hours. So this is what's happening. All right. I'm trying to see if I can match up the time. 12:047. All right, let me come back up here to this one at the top. Click on it, and I'm going to bring it back to the. Let me come back down here. And so we're at 047, and this top one up here on the top is 048. Okay, so you can see by the timestamp 7/12, the time, UT. I'm going through this myself, but if you'll notice, you'll see that these things are related. They are very closely related. Now, the top one is the velocity. The bottom one are the magnetic field lines. If you can see my cursor here, this is important. They are related. Now, these with the magnetic field lines, this is showing how the magnetics are being drawn away from the Earth, because in other frames, these red lines, these closed loops from the Earth, the magnetic field, are very tightly packed and real close right in here. But this is showing at the moment that these blue lines are connected. Now, earlier, these things weren't connected at all. And so I'm going to step through this one frame at a time and correct it as I go along. So there's 2 frames there. So now I'm at 052. I'm going to go up here to this one, and I'm going to step it up a little bit. 050. Wait, I'll go back one. 052. Now they are on the same times. Now this is distorting these a little bit, but I want to be able to get both of them in the frame because then we can absolutely do a side-by-side comparison. And I wanted to do this earlier, but I was having difficulty. So please bear with me. I'm trying to set this up. So we've got the timestamp there. And I've got a small screen, and I don't know how well you can see this. But the most important part is I wish to show that they are related. And other folks are going, nah, you know, that's a bunch of bunky bunk. It's not a bunch of bunky bunk. So I'm going to move this up 2 frames at the top. Okay, actually it's, all right, on the top one, it's 1 o'clock. Okay, so I'm going to go down here to the bottom one, and I'm going to go 1, 2, 56. Oh, that's the end. All right, let me go back one then on this one. Those are the exact same times. 56 and 56, okay? And so you can see that there is a relationship, obviously. Now, this one is the magnetic field lines. But you can see the pulses on the right-hand side coming from the direction of the sun. But look how much these magnetic lines are drawn out. And that's because this energy, as it's going by, is exciting the atmosphere, exciting the space around the planet Earth, and these are the things that are happening, okay? This is the velocity at the top up here at which these things are happening. Also, if you notice where these arrows up on the top frame of this thing, is that some of these lines, which is the speed, it's creating eddies behind the Earth and several Earth distances out, I might add, but it's creating a vortex type effect behind the Earth, if you will, and it's showing up in the magnetic field lines as well. Because as it's going by up here, you can see that these are, on the chart, the speed is dropped here, and it's creating a differential in the polarity of the space around it. So in doing so, on this bottom one, it's pulling these red lines, which is the magnetic Earth. It's being yanked along with this solar velocity out behind the Earth. That's directly related. Perfectly, but they are connected. And these are connected with what let's see if I can do the Schumann resonance real quick and not lose the page. Now, this should be sharing. And I'm going to come in here, and I got to scroll over. That's the 10th and the 11th. And now this machine is already on 12. And I know that it's right at 12 hours difference between Eastern Daylight Time and my time here and what this chart is. So, for example, let me try to get this. There it goes. Come down here a little more. At 9 o'clock tonight, when we were doing the live show on Milky Way Weekly, now this is 9 o'clock in the morning per this instrument, all right? But at 9 o'clock, there was a spike. And what I've been trying to show is that there is a relationship with some of these things going on. Now, another spike at 9:15 yesterday, okay? And you can go across these charts, and oops, sorry about that. I meant to do this. This is a wonky little thing down here. There it is, that slide bar. It wants to hide from me. But at 9 o'clock in the morning over here now, we were getting some drumbeat kind of things coming in, but they weren't as sharp. But now yesterday and today at 9 o'clock, on this time, regardless, that these things are coming in. So they're showing up as a pattern. Now, also the 20 degree range in here, I'm sorry, 25-degree range, also the 19 to 21 range. There's a lot of new energy waves coming in. In the 13 to 15 range, we're getting some a heavy new energy coming in. Now, this is the Schumann resonance. This is what Mother Earth is picking up. Okay. And even all the way down here, if to the bottom left, you see the 32 mark. They're showing up a different frequency on this 32 level as well. All right. Now, these are different frequencies, and they're being interpreted by Mother Earth. And this is her reaction to what is going on. Oh, I bet you I just messed up. Crap it. Reset. I think I just messed up, y'all. I did. I just messed up. I sure did. It makes me start over. Okay, so I'll just, you go to the main page, and I don't know how that came up, but that's okay. So we go to magnetosphere, and then it's on page 9. And we go back to this one, and this explains what it is, and the magnetosphere, okay? But this is 7/12, and it's already set for the date. So I'm just going to play what they already have up here just as a reference. I think I told it to play. Oh, let me go back up here and give it a new time. See, it's showing now, which is actually a stalled picture. So I'm going to say 1 o'clock, and I'm going to hit apply. So I just went back a couple hours, and it should be loading. All right, now be nice. Is it still thinking? No. All right, let's give it a different. Now, see, I'm getting different. That's mighty strange. Come on. 11th. It's not allowing me. Wow, that's interesting. It's not allowing me to do the how many frames per second I want. That's interesting. It reset itself. Yep, and see, and it's only showing 1 frame or 2. That's way interesting. I'm backing this up. Look how crazy. Okay. Now, this was at 2300 Universal Time, just a few hours back. Okay. And look at the craziness going on. All right. Now, these are the field lines. All right. But if you're feeling a little weird, this could be the reason. Look at how these magnetic field lines are being altered by what's coming past or whatever we're doing. We're going through this. But now I ask you, regardless of how many minutes, now that's 2308. Oop, 2304. So it's already set at 4 minutes. But so this is every 4 minutes, this is showing a different frame, but this is actually a continuous event. Look at how these blue lines are here now. Look how increased temperature and fluctuation out here. Look at how nuts our magnetic lines on the Earth are being fluctuated. Okay, this is having an effect on all of us. Now, can I tell you specifically what? No. But I can tell you, we're all feeling this. If this is going on, look at that massive red line. Oh my, and the wiggly squiggly, okay, that's such a technical term. But what I mean by that is those are our magnetic field lines and so forth around the earth and what's happening. This is like, oh my gosh, is this like screwball or what? It's unbelievable. Look at that. Now that was on 710 at 2232. So these are things that are going on, have been going on, and look at those magnetic lines. Oh, holy mackerel. You know what I'm saying? Look at that. Am I like weirded out? In a way. And why do I say that? It's because we're all feeling these energies and we can't explain them. And I'm trying to show you that there is a way to explain some of this. And it's because of these different type of satellites and images and GIFs and information coming in. Now, this goes back on 710 at 2120. Okay. Now, let's look at these red closed loops. You see, they're really much more closer in. Also, these blue lines, okay, the IMF lines, they're connected across the bow of this. All right, now let me back up another one. But you can see, excuse me, how those closed loops are or were a lot closer and a lot tight. I got the hiccups all of a sudden, a lot tighter. And from the different pulses. Now, this is it on 710 at 2024. Now, see, these red lines are still a little bit too wonky, in my opinion. But here's the thing. They're not near as far away as this next one. Watch how they start. They'll collapse for a minute. I'm going forward now. And it's showing up to be every 4 minutes. And you can see that there are pulses because of the reaction of these magnetic lines. Now look what just happened in that frame. So from there to there, I'm backing up to there. That's more normal than not, okay? But now all of a sudden in 4 minutes, 8 minutes, 12 minutes, 16 minutes. So in 16 minutes, this has happened. So when people are saying, wow, I'm feeling really kind of odd and kind of up and down, this happened in less than 20 minutes, okay? So the field lines were really close to the earth, more or less, got sucked way the dickens out behind it, okay? Going forward. Now look how craziness this is. This is on the 10th at 2100. All right, look at that, 2148, 2152. Look how nuts this is going on. Now, yes, this was the day before yesterday now, because it's now the 12th here on the eastern coast. But to the point, look at what those fluctuations are doing. Oh, my goodness. Look at the swirls in the eddies. Now, you know, that's 10th. That's actually only about 26 hours ago or something like that. So a day ago, this is what's going on. A day ago. Day ago. Day ago. Daylight come and me want go home. But see, now this is 2300. Look at how this stuff is going wacko. All right. I know all these good technical terms, but I want to step through this because every 4 minutes, these things are being modified like this from the energy coming from the direction of the sun. Now, like I say, we're being pulled through this goo, and then this goo is what's happening. Holy mackerel. Wow. Let me go back one. Whoa. Talk about some weirdness there. In 4 minutes, 1100, at 0 on the 11th, look where these red, the red closed lines are. Let's go. The next step is just a few seconds later, it shows, and all that has been disrupted. And look where the red lines have come back up to the closed lines. They're way back up to the earth now. Boom, back out that goes. Boom, look at that hitting us. Just, a few minutes later. Okay. Now that's 20 minutes later. Look at what has gone on in the 20 minutes from, after the hour, and this is the 11th. Okay. But there she goes again. Bam. 36, 40, 44, 48, 50. Now, see, it almost seems like there is a pattern because everything is streamlined. The red loops have come up back towards the planet, and then boom, it gets chaotic in just the next 4 minutes. And the chaos continues. Now it's 1 o'clock. Look at this energy out in front of the earth. The bow shock, is pushing way out there, and the intensity of what's coming in is off the charts, literally from over here on the right. So, regardless of what the scientists are saying, look at what's happening. Look at what has happened, and just ask yourself, if this is affecting the earth, then oh my goodness. Now let me go back a couple. 1, 2. Now there we go. Off to the right of this, see this dark orangish patch coming in. Now the red magnetic lines are out there, but not too wonky. Even the black lines are fairly good, and we've got mixing of the IMF blues across the center. Okay, that's all kind of nice. Now it's really hot out here on the nose cone kind of deal, but with this energy coming in, watch what happens to the fields as it passes. Okay, now in this frame, that dark orangish, if you look up to the top of this chart with my mouse, it's now starting to interact. Look what happened in 4 minutes with these closed lines. They're all the way back here. 4 minutes. 4 minutes, not seconds, but still in 4 minutes, it did that fast. Now another 4 minutes. It's 1:36 UT time, and look at the craziness that's come on. Now that darker patch has already passed through, but as it's passed through, look what it's done to the magnetics of the field lines of our Earth. Okay, again, holy mackerel. Now when you watch these dark bands come through, it's like, okay, here's the nose here, then the next time it'll be here, the next frame it'll be here, the next frame will be here. So these waves are passing by, and as they do, they're pulling, and look at the eddy, look at the swirling behind our planet. If you don't think this is not messing with our stuff here on this planet, meaning human beings and the whole thing, I mean, come on. And look how red this one is. Now we're coming in at 1:48 UT time. That was a day ago. I'm just going to step through, but watch how these magnetic lines are being altered. Okay, just going to keep stepping through, because if I try to play it, it goes so fast you can't really watch. Oop, let me back up one. Where did those red lines? See, now at 2:20 last night, look how close the red lines are in. They got pulled in just a few minutes. They pulled back into the earth and around the earth, and to be closed in, close in, and in 4 minutes time, it went from near the earth to way the mess out here. Holy Batman. Okay, keep going. But notice these reactions. And you can tell by the variance in colors. These waves are passing through, passing through, passing through, passing through, passing through every 4 minutes. Not seconds, Dave. But again, these energies are actually a continuous flow. This is flowing. We are going through this flow. So, but the frames of this particular chart we're looking at is 4 minutes apart on the graph, but the energy is flowing in continuously. So just keep that in mind. So my reference to 4 minutes has to do with the slides. But look how that is just stretched out. And you can see him, it's pulsating. And now, come on, this has got to be affecting the Earth. Now, maybe not as bad. Whoa, look at that big one coming through. Holy mackerel. Now, that was 4 o'clock this morning at Universal time, okay? Watch this stuff coming through. Holy mackerel, Andy. Now, keep going. Look at these energies coming in. And see, as I tip this a little faster to keep this going, you can watch as it's in fluid motion, how it's affecting all those field lines. Look at them dancing kind of deal, you know? Look how narrow this cone has gotten out here as opposed to being flared out. Notice when I talk about the energy waves or bands, speaking of, when I say bands, think of bandwidth and frequencies. So these waves are these different bandwidths. So you can see like there's a really dark one, then lighter, then a little bit of fluctuation in there, lighter still, then darker again. And these things are coming in on a continuous basis, and they are, this is what it's doing, you know, to our field lines and to the magnetics of the Earth. Now, if you notice at this particular moment, how close to the Earth these closed red lines are. But notice the ripples in the polar cap fields, okay? So as I step forward, that heavy duty energy wave is now somewhere about here, and you can tell by the closed loops, it's starting to pull it out along with the wave as it passes. Some of them are stronger, some of them not so strong. So I would have thought that really heavy duty one would have sent them clotheslines way out there, but it didn't. So shock to me. But if you'll also notice, the front of these clotheslines are now pushing further towards the sun. So these anomalies are like, well, looks a little predictable, but then again, holy moly, you step through these frames and it's like nothing is predictable. What's predictable is that nothing is predictable. And it's almost got a tear-shaped view right there, just stepping through time. But you can see these magnetic lines changing, growing. They tighten, they loosen, they wrap around. I mean, these black lines are supposed to be behind the Earth, not curled up in front of, but something is sucking up these little strings of energy actually to the opposite side of where they're supposed to be. That's how things are being fluctuated. It's almost like there's a, if you've ever played with a bullwhip or a long string as a kid or whatever and tried to pop it, it looks like it's a string of part of the Earth that's being swung around by these energy waves. And basically that's what's happening. But notice how the cone is changing. I mean, this is going on continuously, and these frames are 4 minutes apart. So I submit, holy mackerel, this is what's going on. Now, this is on 7/11 at 9 a.m. Universal time, which would have been about 6 a.m. our time. So I'm just going to keep walking through this just to show you what's going on. But whoop, look at how these red lines, and now we've got a vortex back here behind this. Look at that. Oh, my goodness. See what it's doing? So it's following a pattern there for a while, and now all of a sudden it's like, holy mackerel, something else just hit. And look at the blue lines doing their squiggly thing. Now, I say squiggly because they should be more uniform and connected. They're all disconnected up here, okay? Meaning the energy is coming in and being really different. Also, in this particular frame, look how red and orange this follows all the way back here. Now, I'm surprised to see the red field lines not being yanked out as back. But see, I'm learning on this too. I don't know if the magnetics could be predicted so much, except that as these waves go by, whoa, there was a big one. It is affecting the field lines and the closed lines and the polar cap lines, and you can tell by the bow of the magnetosphere. And look how it's off to one side, kind of thing. It's lopsided. Many of us have been talking that the Earth magnetics have altered and switched positions, and this almost kind of shows that, hey, instead of being it straight this way, left to right or right to left, depending, but now it's off at an angle, and that kind of matches the angle that I've been seeing things change in the sky, as just an observation on my part. Every 4 minutes, let's keep going through this. I want to get to our current position just because I want to see. But you can see how these lines are being affected. And so anybody who wants to poo-poo my theory, go ahead, fine. But you look at this and tell me that these energies are not affecting us. You know, be a naysayer. Oh, that has nothing to do with you and me. But come on now, watch these magnetic fields. Look at this pulsating going on around Mother Earth. And you're trying to say that this isn't we are not being affected? Come on now, you're just, denying reality. This is what's happening. This is what has just happened. I'm still stepping through. We're at 7-11, 17, 20, 28, 32, 36, 40, coming up on 1800. There we go with 1800. So this is just happened a couple hours ago. Stepping through. Now we're in 1900. See, now at the moment at 1932, look how close in the closed lines are. And even though the blue lines are broken, they're still in a sort of in a pattern. Okay. Stepping forward. So the red closed lines are still staying close to the Earth. But you can see, whoa, hang on. All of a sudden that one changed. But look at the different colors down here at the bottom underneath. Also, look at the color of the pinkish area, which is off the charts on the right-hand side. Look at these different color bands. These are all different frequencies, okay? They're different radio stations, if you will, if you're trying to figure out what I mean by frequencies. Each one of those different colors represents, in a way, the frequency of a radio station, or frequencies of energy coming from the cosmos. This is what is coming in, okay? So this is not to scare you. I'm trying to explain by going through this. When you're feeling weird and nobody's explaining what the heck's going on, this is some of what the heck is going on, y'all. And it is affecting our bodies. It's affecting our brains. It's affecting our digestive system. Look at that. 11. Okay, that's at 2040. 2000, 40 minutes. All right, so what, that's 9, 10, 11, 12, 9 o'clock, 9:40 last night, or their time. But look at how those field lines now, look how crazy the red lines, they went from being really close into the Earth to now they're being whacked out way out in space. So these things, don't you just love my terminology? But look how these waves are coming in and just whoa, that was a heavy duty one. Whoa, look at how pink this is. My goodness gracious. And look how far that energy is coming way down here to trail it. Oh my goodness. Not to be freaked out. It's that, oh my goodness, no wonder we are feeling these things. And this is making Mother Earth pulse like a heartbeat. Okay, almost to 12 o'clock. They're time at 2100. We're coming up on 22. But look how, just watch how the changes are. And there's 2200. So they go from tightly packed around the Earth, and then literally in just a few minutes, whoop, see, now it went back. What sucked the magnetic lines back in? See, now at 2200, these red lines are way out in space, and there's 4 minutes, they're starting to retract. There's 8 minutes, and in 8 minutes, these field lines pulled in. That might be 1,000,000 miles away. I mean, there's several 100,000 miles way out here in space, and now they're back close, tight to the Earth. Think about that in terms of like a heart pump, if you will. Look how close the red lines are now. So, you know, they go from being close to the Earth, and the blacker lines are being tossed around like whips on the in the wind. And that's at 11. That's on the 11th at 2232. So you can see it's starting to pull the red lines away from the Earth again. And, you know, it's almost happening like once an hour almost. Just stepping through. But see, now at 2312, we've got this anomaly here, and it's starting to pull these things out again. So the reason why it's important to see about the time is that there is, albeit a little strange, it's coming in pulses, and that should be obvious. And that's my main purpose of showing you this. And that in a 4-minute time span, the Earth can change its magnetic field to way out here and then back again. So think about just pulling a rubber band as far out as you can and then letting it go. And then, you know, a half a second later, it's back where it was. And anyway, that's a bad analogy, but they're being yanked like rubber bands. And you can see these little bubbles of energy that are being pulled through. We're feeling this. The entire planet feels this, okay? So, going through, it's 0128. So this is on the 12th. This is today. Now, on their time, it's a few hours earlier. But this is just occurring today, a few hours ago, bringing us up to the present. But you see, we're going through this stuff. There's another big blurb. Look at that. Drag the field lines. All the red lines are out here, and that just happened 2 hours ago. Boom. Look at this stuff go by. Oh, my goodness. See, this is what's hitting us now. It just, my goodness. Wow. This is happening, has just happened. Whoa. And if you don't understand, it doesn't matter whether or not you understand what the colors mean. But what's important is that you see the disruption of these of these field lines. Look at how crazy. Now, see, that's just happened. That's just happened. Now, all of a sudden, I've been speaking about, you know, we go up on a wave and we stay up there and we're at a peak and everybody's like hyper, hyper, hyper. And then all of a sudden you come back down off the wave, thinking of an ocean wave, and you end up in the trough. Now, see, all of a sudden, these red lines are back close to the Earth where they're supposed to be, kind of deal, or more kind of deal. But as the energies come through, boom, 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 fluctuations. And so it's almost like an irregular heartbeat in a way. Look at how that balloons out. Wow. Now, see, that's, in my opinion, that is an explosion of magnetics, okay? It's like in the previous frame, it's all kind of held together. Everything's kind of groovy, and all of a sudden it's like blowing up a balloon. And I'm not necessarily meaning that it popped, but whoa, here we go. Boom, look at that. Boom. And that's 324, 325, 328, 332. See, and the lines came back in. In just 20 minutes time, they went all the way out and then back. That fluctuation is driving some of the people on Earth bat crap cray cray. This is the reason why. Okay. And you can watch these pulses go through, watch those magnetic lines change, break apart, come back together. And these are the things that are affecting us. And do we need to freak out about it? No. Do we need to go crazy? No. This is because I wish for you to understand. How do I get out of this? Okay. All right. I had my camera in the other place. Okay. So what I'm trying to show you with this is that there are direct correlations to this. Okay. And these energy waves that are coming through and washing over the planet, they're washing over us. Some of these are hitting the Earth. Some of these are exciting the Earth. That's why the Earth is expanding. These are normal conditions. They have happened over the period of millennia, thousands of years, hundreds of years. We go through these periodic things. Okay. Now, what I'm trying to relate to is that we are feeling this in our bodies in different directions, in different ways. And I'm going to do a really quickie thing here about when I showed you the different frequencies at like 13 and 25 and around 32-ish kind of thing. I've said this in previous videos, and my higher angels are saying to explain how we get through this. Now, I've discussed this in that it's very important that we do our best to not hold on to these energies. We need to let them pass on. All right. So as they wave upon us, we want to not collect this energy. Let the energy pass. Stay away from trying to collect it or absorb it. Just let it go. Now, the mantra is and how to deal with some of this. Now, I'm going to go back over this again on a video that's related just to how to deal with these. But because I'm at the end of this video and I've just showed you the chart, I think I owe you a little bit more explanation. So just a second. So there are important things I discuss in other videos about. First, you need to accept and say, I accept and receive the energies coming from the cosmos. I accept and I receive. And say it out loud. It's very important because the mouth tells the ears hear it, and also your subconscious. So you're programming yourself to listen, accept, and receive energies from the cosmos. Okay? Repeat it 3 times. Also, the next part of this is that now that you've told your brain to accept and receive the information, the next step in this, and I use the word must, and I mean it like this. Oh, like I mean it in a very kind way. In order for a spell to work or intentions to work, there are certain things you must follow. You must follow these simple rules. So when I say must, you don't have to do it. You can ignore me altogether. But then what's the point? If you want the benefits of this, the point of this is that when I say you must, I mean in order to get the most benefit out of it, then you must follow the instructions. All I'm saying. It's your free choice whether or not you accept it. Now, you must look at the frequencies when you meditate. Focus, go out and check the Schumann resonance, look at the graph and go, and humming is a good way. It sets up a vibration. If you're very good with pitch or anything like that, you can hit these different frequencies. Meditate on that sound. Allow your body to feel that energy. Now, don't copy what I just did. I was just giving an example. But when you focus on it, you say, I wish, so that you're putting forth a positive thought. I wish these cosmic energies, or energies, since you've already stated what they are, I wish these energies to heal my body. I wish these energies to heal my soul. I wish these energies to heal my brain. Say that 3 times as the power of 3 in that mantra. Now, you can choose the words, but again, you must say, I wish, because you're putting forth a wish to the cosmos, to the energy. And as you've already stated in I accept and receive, now you're up for the next step. This really is important. So this next part, now you're saying, I wish these energies that you've already told your brain to accept to heal my brain. And you say, I wish these energies to heal my brain. I wish these energies to heal my body. I wish these energies to heal my soul. Then you say it 2 more times. It's not very hard, but you're stating your intentions. It's as simple as that. And by redoing it 3 times, if you change your tone of voice each time you repeat it, you will also set up another very harmonious frequency for you and your brain and your body and your spirit to receive these cosmic energies. And so that when they pass through you, as they're healing you, as they're by saying these things, you're also allowing them to pass through you with the least amount of difficulty. Okay. And I've tried this the last few days because I've been asking for information. How do I explain to people to deal with this? How do I deal with this fluctuation in these energies? Holy mackerel, because they're driving me nuts at times too. Not to the point where I'm going cray cray, but I have noticed that there's been a time or two where I was really kind of irate, and I was like ready to, type out a comment in chat when I realized it's affecting me also. As much as I try to stay in the positive, and I was like, oh, hang on. So a very important part of this entire process that we're going through right now is realizing that these things are happening. And as these waves of energy are passing over the earth and through and around us, these are affecting our ups and downs and our highs and our lows, and we can literally in 4 minutes change, because these patterns that I just showed you are changing every 4 minutes, some of them really drastically. So why wouldn't we be affected is my question of why wouldn't we be affected by all these magnetic anomalies going on? So, but awareness, that's the point I wish to show you and discuss. Now that you're aware of these frequencies, now that you saw the chart and could see that in the around the 12 frequency, around the 24 frequency, and around the 32. If you just allow your brain, say 12, 22, 32, you're allowing, meditate on just seeing a broad scope of band in those areas. Picture the Schumann resonance chart in your mind's eye, and that will help your brain to understand what I'm trying to verbalize right here. It's like, okay, take a picture in your brain of the Schumann resonances, whether it's current or not doesn't matter, because the energies are coming in these pulses. What matters is you focus on the frequency of these pulses, the big fat green ones, okay? Not necessarily the spikes, okay? It's the big fat green ones, and the ones that are consistent on each of the rows across all the way, okay? You just allow those energies to fix you, cure you, help you, heal you, okay? And when you close your eyes and you see that little picture in your brain, you're just allowing those energies. So you gave the brain a picture. You can say it out loud. I wish those frequency on the chart to be used properly. So by speaking out instructions and then your subconscious hears it, it's going to let the brain allow itself to tune to these frequencies because you're meditating in a broad spectrum, but you've narrowed it down rather than saying, I accepting all frequencies and always. Well, that's really too broad. If you focus on those that we're getting hammered by, now you're being specific and you're saying, allow these energies to heal and help and cure and so forth. I hope that makes sense. I really do. Because my entire purpose for this is to help explain how to get there, meaning how to reach a good level, a higher frequency, a good spiritual level, and in a way, take a few shortcuts, if you will. You may not have to walk to the mountain as some folks have to do. Now, I've been on the mountain and I've walked to the mountain. I've walked to the swamps. I've walked in caves. I've walked in all kinds of places. So, and I'm giving you tips on shortcuts, okay? But we're in a really heavy duty area right now. And it's important, I believe, and my spirit guide, because I'm here talking to you right now, that this is important and that we need to help each other during these extra energy times, these extra things that are literally changing our DNA, changing how we feel, how our spirit is, how we're relating to one another. Some of these people are going to get fixed in a good way of things hurting and their spirit, and they're going to be spiritual cures, which will help the entire body system, if you will. And then there are those people who are grumpy, and that just will, they're going to have a difficult time. Now, I wish also to state this because I've had to go through this and I had to also drop it. So I bring this to you as advice from my own personal self to you. We're in a portion right now of this energy and all these changes and everything. Some people have just absolutely refused to listen to me because I'm too wacky, too way out there, too woo-woo, and this is just crap they don't want to listen to. Okay, fine. I cannot make them. I will not try to make them. I will have discussions. I love them anyway. I pray anyway for these folks to not necessarily pay attention to me, but that they will wake up in some way. Because I'm trying to show just simple earth magic, spiritual stuff without a bunch of hoopla, without any kind of, you gotta join a cult, you gotta, the mantras that I say about, repeat these things 3 times, that's just good intention. You're just stating your intention to the universe. That is magical. MAJIK, my spelling, having to do with earth magic and our own spiritual magic, if you will, our power. Sometimes the word power really gets misconstrued, but it is a power. It is an energy force. So, but I'm trying to stay out of any kind of cult words or any kind of thing like that, because the last thing I wish is for this to be a cult. It's not. That's the point. You don't have to join anything. You just do it. And by now focusing on these different frequencies that are coming in, we as individuals on this planet, we can now, rather than just getting beat up and boxed around by these energies, now that we're aware of them, now that we understand the approximate frequency range of these new energies coming in, we can focus in a neutral way, if you will. You don't wish to focus on one, 12.258, frequency. That's being too anal and too focused. You need to focus between 11 and 13 and allow anything in that range to come in. Now, there are other energies that are kind of feeding over, but look for the main ones. That's the important part. Keep it simple, stupid, the KISS idea. But the power of three is real important. And following the, you must say these things, meaning, I wish to have these energies cure me. That's important that you say, I wish. Okay. Very important. Because if you don't put it out there that what you wish these energies to do, if you're not specific, then they're just going around going, well, he didn't tell me what to do. I'm just here being crazy. So give it something to do. Specifically, I wish to heal my body, my mind, my spirit. Now, you got to take care of yourself before you move on to others. And that's where I left that subject. I realized several months ago, and maybe it was last summer kind of thing, I had this realization that everyone I was trying to talk to, my friends, my relatives, brothers, sisters, anybody, relation, friends, close friends, how do I explain to you these things that are going on? And so I've spent hours and days and weeks and months and years on meditation on this stuff to try to bring a simple answer. So I've been talking all kinds of things, and, I've been bitched at, slapped at, you talk too much. Okay, fine. And here I am rapping on some more when I should wrap this up. But I feel that this is important. And that's sort of where every time I go into a conversation, it seems like there's another little tidbit of information that comes in that's important as well. However, I promise you, I'm trying to be more focused and stay on these things. And I forgot what the hell I was talking. We can't drag people with us. If folks wish to not listen, that's their choice. And we must respect and honor their decision in this. Now, I've had big issues personally, not with them, but myself. But I want them to understand. I want my friends and my relatives to understand what I'm talking about. And in being overzealous or over something, in my fervor of how can I get you to pay attention to some of this, it's gone right over their heads, and I've lost them. I mean, they might listen, maybe not. And I'm not placing blame. I'm placing blame, if anywhere, on myself because of my overzealousness or whatever. Also, I somehow placed back in my subconscious somewhere expectations. I expected some of my relatives to want to understand what I'm discussing rather than just thinking I'm that crap cray-cray. I went too crazy too soon, and everyone already has an opinion. Okay, fine. I'm having better results with total strangers. Why? Because they're giving me the benefit of the doubt during this time. And if you go back and watch my older videos, you can tell I've been in some places that were like really crazy in the respect that I'm talking about some woo-woo outer space alien stuff that a lot of people absolutely, even now, don't want to listen to. But it's coming. Now, how it gets here, well, I'm still waiting on that. But I've seen my own aliens. I've seen there are videos on the orbs in Ohio. There are orbs here in South Georgia, all these other different things. So I try to give you positive proof of what I've seen and discussed, because I've asked these entities, look, is there any way you can give me proof? Now, I don't necessarily have to have a close-up shot of a Palladian scout ship, but something, okay. So they've given me pictures of orbs and different things in different places around the United States. And so that is my proof, photographic evidence. And so I've had other things where other people were with me when angelic things happened. So it's proof to them. Now I have a witness that this did occur. So these are things that I've asked my spirit guides, please give me a little help with this. So when I discuss these items with people, I have a little proof. Okay. That, yeah, I saw that video on the orbs, Dave. That was kind of weird. Yeah, it was, wasn't it? What about the spear beings? Yeah, well, there are pictures of them and hundreds of them. Okay. So am I crazy? Well, there's the pictures. You decide. And you decide whether or not the information I received from these spear beings is correct or not. Now, up to this point, the information I received has been accurate, except for the time. Their idea of time is different from ours. Also, the bad guys have been screwing with the timelines. Okay. I mean, I literally, for 3 months, I couldn't get all my digital clocks to cooperate. They kept changing their time on their own. On July the 1st, which is why I started with July 1, was looking at some of these energies, all of my digital clocks all of a sudden have the same time. Magically, without touching any of them, they all of a sudden match. Computer to the phone to the this to the that, they all suddenly, they were all on the same timeline. Also, since the 1st of July this year, my own personal mind, things aren't quite as squirrely. I would wake up from, being too tired and have to take an hour nap and wake up and literally feel like I'm in another world. It's my house, but things are different. There's something on the chair that wasn't there before, and I go back to sleep and I wake back up. And what I saw in that interim period of waking up for a few minutes, get something to drink, on the toilet, the item that I saw on the chair in that short time isn't there now. Now, I didn't move it because all I did was go to the toilet. I observed it and went, wow, I wonder how that got on the chair. Go back to sleep, wake back up and go, whatever was on that chair is now gone. Okay, and it's 4 hours later. Did somebody come in and move that item? No. But we have had issues with Mandela effect and timeline mess. And these nasty folk out yonder and on this planet as well have been messing with the timelines big time. Now, a couple of weeks ago, it has been said by the Galactics that the timelines are being closely guarded and that the frayed ends are healing and are starting to meld. And just think of different strands in a rope, okay? That some of them have been frayed and sticking up like this and they don't know where to go. The timelines are being healed and put back together again. So some of this really weird spaciness of literally, I look out my window and looks like my property doesn't look the same. It's like I've got piles of wood. The wood's gone. I got a car that sits over there that I need to work on. The car's not there. And then I wake up 4 hours later and everything's back. And I'm like, now look, I know I'm nuts, but I'm not taking any kind of psychedelics or anything. I don't feel that I'm having any kind of relapse from my LSD experiences in the past. These are changes. I'm like, what the hell's going wrong outside my window? Now, I've tried to take pictures of some of this, but the things that happen are like little blips. And I can't, where did I put my camera? And then I'm like, I got to lay back down. I can't go chasing the camera right now. Then I wake back up. The things are back to normal. So it's like, okay, but I know they're happening. Other people are having these experiences. So we must speak our intent. Stay in the positive when we speak our intent. Absolutely never wish wrong on another person. I don't care what they've done. You must forgive them. You must. This is part of the deal. Not my rule now, but you must forgive. Whatever. Yourself, number one. For any shame, guilt, or whatever. And I've spoke about this before, and I will again. Forgive yourself. Then forgive the others closest to you. Start small group and work your way out. Go all the way through your baggage and ask for forgiveness. If you can, ask for forgiveness to from the person, however, whatever the situation is. But also, if nothing else, if you can't get in touch with folks, or that's just too complicated for you, then make a general statement to the universe. I understand that in my previous years on this planet, I have made mistakes. I have harmed people. I would hope that it was unintentional. But even if it was intentional, then you absolutely must, apologize and ask for forgiveness. But if you are honest, 101% honest with yourself, with Creator, and with the universe, your plea, your request to be forgiven of these things can and will be heard. But it's your intent. And if you're just trying to do this half-ass, excuse my French, that it ain't going to work. All right? Because frequencies don't work that way. If your spirit and your body and all of us are supposed to reach a particular frequency, if you slide at all, that's like trying to slide into FM 104 and you get 103.8. And it's not quite on the station. You're getting static. The station's tuning in and out. Okay, I'm using a radio analogy. But if our frequencies aren't correct, as things progress with what's going on now currently, heaven, it's not going to be the rapture. The folks who are going to be raptured are going to go to hell. And I mean that in a not hell burning fire, but it's going to be hell for them. Why? Because they have been lulled into the fact that all this savior stuff and all this other rigmarole has confused them so they refuse to see and look at the simple truth. Those folks are going to be in hell because they believed in something that was false. That's going to be their hell. To realize, oh, my small g God, I've been lied to. Now, there are preachers, there are priests, there are holy people that have, dedicated their life to that, are waking up to the fact that, oh, my God, we've been lied to by these other spiritual leaders. So am I a spiritual leader? In a way, I'm like a coach. Just think of me as a coach. If you got to think of me as anything. Mentor, okay, fine. Shaman, if you want. But basically, I'm just coaching you here, okay? These are the things that you require. These are must items. The rest of it, forget about it. So many people are worried about their souls because of the Bible, because of the Quran, because of the holy book. It's simply a guide. If you don't fit every single word, there are folks right now, we're almost at the end of Revelations. And I've read passages over and over and over again. I'm not going to do it. My point to this, though, right now, there are so many people preaching, and for the last year and a half, really strong, this is apocalyptic. This is apocalyptic. Oh, would you stop with the apocalyptic? It's a really bad storm. They're huge-ass waves. Okay, but everything has to be apocalyptic now. Why? We are in the apocalypse. We are in Revelations. And the apocalypse and the revelation is the lifting of the veil. It's the man behind the curtain in the Wizard of Oz, okay? And we're seeing the curtain being pulled. Now, many of us have seen what's behind the curtain for many years. So I use the Bible simply for inspiration, simply as a guide. Christ was a wonderful person, and there are a lot of people who think he never existed. Now, I personally believe that there was an entity on this planet that was the Christ energy figure, whether it was Jesus or Jesus or Bob. There were people on this earth teaching the Christ-like manner, which is the simple way to get to your frequency, to get to heaven. They spoke in terms that folks understood. Back then, I don't believe anybody in Bethlehem had a TV or a radio, so when they tried to explain frequency, folks went, huh? Okay? And only until 100 in 20 or so years ago did the frequency issue sort of come into being into the general public. Now, I also want to state here, I'm going to close up here in a couple minutes, that back 100 years ago, people were finding that religion and spirituality were actually disconnected. That, like, as I spoke about the Catholic Church, me being raised Catholic, graduated Tampa Catholic High School. I don't have my shirt on. But I'm proud of that. I'm proud of the Catholic education I've had. I'm not proud of the fact that I got pedophiled by 4 different priests and so forth. I'm not proud of the fact that the church did all these nasty things to little boys and maybe little girls, but I haven't heard that. And that, you know, none of us are even being spoken about or being brought up. I mean, in my opinion, the grief and stuff that I've been through, they owe me a flat $1 million for the difficulty of the last 50 years of my life because of them guys. I had to forgive them. I have to forgive them. Now, the church is an entity, not a person. Now, I still have a crap load of animosity towards the Catholic Church, the Vatican. That is an entity. That's an organization. I'm allowed to be pissed at them because they're an organization of a bunch of people. Now, can I forgive every single person in the Vatican, blah, blah, blah? I don't know them. I don't know how they harmed me. And it's not my place to give a blanket forgiveness to these folks. Now, the people who personally harmed me, I can. I have the right, and it is my right, to either forgive or not forgive, hate, whatever. But if I wish to move on with my frequency, if I wish to move on up on my own personal ladder, then I must do these things. And I say that because there's no other way to get there. You can argue this point. That's BS. But I'm here to tell you the simple way was when you start doing these things, your frequency will automatically start vibrating at a higher level. And you will get an aha moment. Because I did. When I started forgiving these people, literally from my heart, and I'd had to go out and lay on the ground and just what they did to me, and I had to cry and let it out because of all the crap they gave me. And when I did, and this was just my own personal way of getting rid of these demons, once I did, and I said, you know what? I've gotten mad, and I, wrestled, and I've screamed here in my own space. And I did it outside so the house wouldn't absorb this stuff, by the way. And then I said prayers and thanked the earth and the surrounding for allowing me to go through that process, and then to sit down and ask for forgiveness for my own foolishness in carrying all these years, all that animosity and hate and so forth. And then I said, other people have little different ways, but I've found that if you start by first forgiving yourself and allowing yourself to heal for, man, I feel ashamed. I feel guilty or whatever. Once you forgive yourself of that and mean it, because then you can feel in yourself the forgiveness you just gave yourself. Say it out loud, say it 3 times, and let your ears hear it and let your subconscious hear it. This is real important, okay? The mantra of 3. I forgive myself for my past doings. I forgive myself for my past doings. I forgive myself for my past doings. Okay? It can be literally as simple as that, but it is your intent. It's all the thoughts that go with that. I forgive myself, because you'll have the list in your head of whatever the nasties that you did or that you feel you need forgiven for. But when that happens, now you're not allowed spiritually to move to the next, which is forgive other people for the nasties they did to you. And I guarantee if you 100% forgive yourself, you will be able to 100% forgive these other folk who've done whatever they've done to you. Or you gotta sometimes forgive for what somebody did to child or a wife or something. Now, because it didn't happen to you directly, however, but you were affected by, say, I don't know, a family member being pedophiled by an uncle or something. A lot of that happens in families. I mean, it happened in a family that I knew, and I was pedophiled by the uncle. Anyway, and boy, the day like to beat the crap out of that dude. And that was back in the 70s. I realized I didn't forgive this person. It was a small incident, but they weren't on my list at the time. So I'm just had a little moment here myself. I don't know the gentleman's name, but I do remember the circumstance, and I can say right now, I forgive that person for that particular incident. I forgive that person for that particular incident. I, David Null, forgive that person for that particular instance. My intent, my purpose. Okay, I'm done. But to the point though, sometimes little things slip up, and it's like I went over my list of forgiven folks and to ask for forgiveness. I really was pretty anal about it. If you want to know the absolute truth, I mean, talk about Mr. Butthole to myself, because I'm that hard on myself. A lot of people don't understand that where there's turmoil and they think there's craziness going on, craziness is inside my own head a lot of times. It was a lot of times because of medications, etc., addiction, so forth. But to my point, though, that I was getting too anal about, well, what about how do I do that? And basically, you just sit down and you just make up your mind to say, I've had enough with carrying these negative energies. I've had enough of this. I think it's going to, and when you've had that last straw, when you've had that just one too many drops of water on your forehead during the Chinese torture treatment, or whopped upside the head like the mule and the farmer, the farmer hitting the mule. But anyway, that establishes a precedent within your own aura, within your own body, within your own mind. And so now you're creating an entirely new paradigm by releasing that negative energy, by releasing the guilt, whatever, by forgiving yourself, and then moving to the next step of forgiving other folks. And start with the small stuff, okay? Work up to the pedophile or the whatever, the nasty nasties, if it's happened to you, okay? Start with the small stuff. I really cheated this person. Maybe I can call him and go, Joe, man, we haven't talked in a while. I just realized I was a butthole. And would you forgive me for being a butthole? Now, we don't have to be friends if you don't want to, but, I realized I was a butthole, and I want to apologize. And if you can and would, think about forgiving me. I'm so sorry, and be penitent about it. And Joe will be shocked. And I know that I've had these phone calls placed to me. David, I've done you wrong in the past. These are the things, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm asking, will you forgive me, please? And I'm like, what? I hadn't thought of it. One was a relationship I was in, and blah, 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 blah. But this person received Christ back in their life, not necessarily a church or a Bible, but Christ. And they understood that in order to move on, they needed to forgive. Forgive them, for they know not what they do. Okay? Certain things and certain sayings in the Bible are very appropriate. Now, it doesn't mean to be stupid about this, but at the same point, if you're in a situation where it's a no-win situation, then just make it as easy on yourself as you possibly can. Now, forgiving other people will bring a new paradigm to your entire spirit, to your entire aura. Can't be explained. I can discuss it. I can say, man, you're going to feel different, but how you feel different. This evening when I was on with Brian from Milky Way Weekly, he was like, I felt a release when I let these things go. So people will explain it in different ways, but it is a release because it's an emotion, it's a feeling or something that you've been like dragging with you, especially if you've done things and you refuse to forgive yourself. Very important. So now, where does all this tie in? As you forgive yourself and your vibrations are rising, as you do your meditations, and you can find 5 minutes, and you'll find out that 5 minutes, if you do it right, will be 10. And there are a lot of different ways to meditate. The best thing to do is just close your eyes. There are a lot of people who say, but I can't stop my mind. It's wanting to roll, 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 roll. When you try to stop that rolling, you're not gonna be able to meditate. Let it roll. The object of the meditation is to let whatever is there to release itself. And if there are too many figures and too many pictures or too many movies in your head, part of the meditation is letting this stuff out so that you can just be yourself. After a couple of times like this, your brain will go, look, I've already seen that movie. I choose not to replay it right now. And you can even say, once this movie has played in my head, because if I would get, reoccurring thoughts, oh my God, I got it. Oh my God, I got it. Oh my God, I got it. Oh, like once was enough. Okay. So, but as you explain to your brain, when I go through this weirdness or whatever the process you're going through, then say it out loud. Once I go through this mess, I release it. So if the thoughts are just too many and blah, 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 I release this energy. So if you're trying so hard to meditate and all these thoughts are running through your head, it's supposed to be that way. Okay? So you're trying to stop a natural thing. And I did this for years. Trust me. And then it dawned on me one day, oh my God, I'm wasting energy to try to stop the thoughts. And if I just let them run and say, okay, go ahead. But when you're done, you're done. And say it out loud. So these little movies and all these thoughts run through my head. And after a couple of times, they quit playing. And so I could just close my eyes and go, oh, wow, there's nothing running through my head. Oh, wow, I'm almost meditating. All I had to do was just close my eyes and I'm like there now. And honestly, that's how it is now. I don't have to think about how to get to a meditative state because somehow I allowed all these little brainy things go by. I can't stop thinking about it. Just let it go. The whole point of the Buddha, of the this, is letting the self go. So if you're trying to stop these thoughts so you can meditate, that's an oxymoron. Let those feelings just flow. You'll be better off for it. Now, I hope this has been of help. It's very important. I really hope that you all will take notice of some of this. Let's come back and have another chat. I will try to do more specific things in the future without talking for 2 hours. But when I get on these rolls, and I think if you've made it this far, then I think it's important that I follow up with some of these things. And I'm hoping that the more I repeat them and put these things out into the cosmos, the more they will be heard by the cosmos and by other inhabitants of planet Earth here. So when I say that I love you all from my heart, soul, and from my soul heart, I really do mean it. And for all those folks who think I'm crazy, I'm good with that. And I forgive you. I do. And I actually kind of made my own bed in a way. So I have to lay in what I've done. Except I'm hoping that some of these people who tossed me by the wayside so many years ago, or maybe even months ago, will come back and at least pay attention to some of what I need to say and what I am trying to say. Because in so many ways, I am trying to save your spirit, your soul, your energy, whatever it is. I wish us all, as many as possible, to be able to make this new transition. And if you're already thinking, man, I'm not an evil person, I'm not that nasty over there, I really want to be a better person, I wish to be a better person, how do I become a better person? you're already headed in the right direction. Just stay on that path. Excuse me. I'll leave you with this. The biggest things are to remember it's a lot easier than other folks try to tell you. You don't need to join a cult. You don't need to join a religion. You don't need to read the Bible. You don't need to read the Koran. You don't need to read the Bhagavad Gita. You need to listen to yourself. Now, those things are tools to help you expand your thought process, but they are tools. When people try to tell you this is the word of God, I can tell you, I'm speaking to you right now, and I'm saying the words that are coming out of my mouth are words from Creator, are words from the angel realm, okay? And you go, wow, he's trying to be Jesus Christ. I am not. I'm your brother. If anything, I'm just an angel here on earth like you. We're all angels. We are all this positive energy. So I'm just relating what we should already remember. We have forgotten our past lives. We have forgotten who our true spirit is. And all this gobbledygook of religions and words and text and this and that and the other thing just confuses us to reach Creator, to reach the source directly. By just simply reaching out and saying, Source, I allow this energy from the cosmos to enter and heal me. It's as simple as that, with positive, good intent, 100% believing in what you say, because allow it to come from your heart. These things are very important. They're really simple, but they're also very difficult for a lot of us to achieve. It's taken me years to get to some of these places. But if you follow a few of these tips that I give you, and you just look around your little world and go, yeah, I think I can change that and that and that and that and that, you're already better off. And anything better is better than none. The hell with it. Why should I worry? Well, then never mind. None of us should waste our time on you. If that's your, the hell with it. Sorry, you stay over there. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to talk to the adults. At least the young adults are, But if you know people of that mindset, don't kick them, hate them, whatever. Just say, fine, you've obviously made your choice. I respect you. I honor your decision. That doesn't mean you have to agree with it, but you need to leave that. Many of us are like, but I want to save my family and friends. If they won't listen, shoving their face down in the mud or into the water isn't going to do any good. Okay, like leading a horse to water can't make him drink. Okay, that's where I was headed with that. You can't make them listen. All you can do is show by example. Show by example. I forgive you for your rude remarks, and that's okay. I understand. I still respect you, and I still honor you. I may not agree, but I still respect and honor you as a person, as a spirit, as another angel here on earth. I do. Now, you don't have to go along with their politics. I believe in no, but you can still respect them as a being, and and you can still honor that being by being respectful. And that's one of the things we've lost. We've lost honor and respect between each other. So, simple steps, simple things to do, but as I have stated, these are must items. Must items. You don't have to slit your wrist and draw blood and do any kind of sacrifice. All you need to do is inside yourself. Your intent must be 100%. Don't flake off and go, well, I kind of feel this way. Then never mind. You're wasting your energy if you're, I don't know. I think this is a good idea. If you don't really believe in it, forget it. Just have a good thought about it or just drop it. Better to be neutral about something than to throw a negative into anything. Keep yourself as positive as possible. If you can't stay into the positive, then trying to stay in neutral. Some folks go, well, yeah, but being neutral, isn't that like being neutral? Yeah, but if you're being neutral, at least you can observe both sides. And hopefully, in your little bit of limbo state, in that thinking, then you can go, well, I really don't want to be evil, wicked, mean, bad, nasty. Yeah, I'd really like to do this over here on the good side. I'm not sure how to get there. Being in neutral allows you to look for different paths, different roads out, different doors to choose, okay? Different options. Now, should you stay in neutral very long? Probably not. And you should at least look for a train of thought on the positive side, hopefully, that it might not lead you all the way out, but it'll be a step. And I've told many people this, oh, well, what, I'm out of high school, or what do I do? Look, go somewhere and get a job, regardless, even if you have to volunteer your time, but show people that you are interested, that you care, and that you'll show up on time, because that's what's important. And I have done this myself, given my time freely, and so I go, man, you're just too damn valuable. We got to pay you. And I end up making more money than some of the people who've been there for years, because my intent was different than theirs. So, and different people have had good success with this. Go ahead and start out small and tell the people, look, this is my first job, whatever it is, but I intend to be here. I intend to stay with you for at least, I want to do a good job, and I wish to move up with your company if you would allow me. And even if it's something that you're not sure if you like, give it a try, because movement in a positive direction is better than standing still. All right. Sometimes we must stand still because there's too much crazy. And it's easier to stand still because if you were to venture off too quickly, you might really seriously have made the wrong decision. So being in neutral is a good thing up to a point. It's for observation only, not to live. Living in neutral is not the answer. Staying in the neutral to observe your choices is beneficial, is important, and is necessary. So if you feel things are going by too quickly, if your meditation you don't feel is working the way it wants, just allow it to happen and think of yourself, I think I'm just going to sit neutral. I'm not going to overreact. I'm going to hold my chill. I'm going to whatever. I think I'm just going to sit in neutral for a day or two, just to look at my options. But even by stating that, you will have already made a choice to stay away from anything negative, to stay away from those blah, 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 blahs, or whatever. And so you've already set up a time frame for the next day or so. I think I'm just going to sit in neutral, look around. That doesn't mean that you're not going to go to work or whatever, but your emotions, and put your emotions in neutral for a few days. So you can look around, take a check. Because these energies are fluctuating so much, it might be the best choice for you. And then after a day or so of just giving up to neutral, unless there's something desperate you need to make a decision on, if it can hold out, then do so. If it can wait a day without, causing great stress, whatever that decision might be, let it go for a day. It's still in your brain. You got to make a decision. But as an old Chinese proverb says, if you have a problem and you need a decision, eat that problem. Eat that problem. And if you eat it and it gives you indigestion, then the idea or the business arrangement is wrong. If you eat the question or the idea or which you're trying to make the decision on, if you eat it spiritually, but metaphorically, you take it in, if it doesn't upset your stomach, then you're on the right track. And I swear that stuff works, because it boils down to having a gut feeling. If you have that gut feeling, it's probably because you swallowed something that is disagreeable. Listen to that voice. That is your psyche, your spirit, your higher self, your angels, and maybe God himself going, stop! So with that said, I've given way too much information. No, I haven't. I've just rapped on too long. I do love you all. I'm going to stop this. I got a cramp in my leg, a cramp in my back, a cramp in my head. I need another cup of coffee. You know, at 2:30 in the morning. It's okay. Better to bring these things out into the light, and hopefully it helps someone to understand. Just remember, it's really kind of simple. It's not complicated hoops and things to jump through. The complication comes in your own personal life. How do you forgive yourself? How do you go through these changes? And you can read things, and trust me, I'm not saying don't read the Bible. I'm just saying that's not your savior. Okay? You are your own savior. All right? We are our own saviors. We are angels. We are these eternal beings. And as we remember this and our frequencies change and we accept the cosmos and these new healings coming in, deep breath, everybody's going to feel better in the long run. And for those on the wayside, we pray for them constantly. Whether they wake up or not is really immaterial. But I pray positively that folks who are asleep, or whatever you want to call it, unwilling to understand or accept, or however, denying what could very well possibly be their salvation with some simple words and actions on their part, that it's like, all we can do is show by example. There are some people who are getting very upset about this. My family doesn't understand. If you trust in yourself, if you trust in your God, to me it's a small g. If I trust in Creator, and I do, then I also understand that for every day and for every word that I speak to the positive, for every time I speak to the universe these positive intentions for all beings, regardless of their status of frequency, that I wish all beings to be able to achieve these things with the simplest means possible, without joining a cult and so forth. So that is my mantra. I've said it again, and again, because I wish this to be in the universe. And so every person has that opportunity. You can pass it on, other folks pass it on. And as a general rule, the world is changing. It is getting better. We must leave those alone who don't wish to be bothered and understand that we did the best we can. Understand that as you continue your goodness, you will lead by example. Understand if it's meant for them to understand themselves, Creator will allow it. So have faith in that. Have faith in yourself. Have faith in Creator. Have faith in the source. Have faith in our eternal spirits, souls. I love you. Catch you on the flip side. Stop